My name's Alana Honaker. I'm the grants coordinator with Freshwater Future. I will be running through some slides quickly, and then we'll have some time for a Q&A at the end. On today, we have some other Freshwater Future staff. Jill and Lori, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, everybody. Jill Ryan. I am the executive director of Freshwater Future. So happy you're all here with us, and thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Lori Breitner, and I'm with Freshwater Future as well, and I'm the grant coordinator. So when you send your grant, you'll be sending it to me, and I'll be managing it throughout the process. Good to see everybody.
Thank you both. Okay, so just a little bit about us. We have given over $5.7 million over the last 27 years, making up over 1,400 grants that have gone towards protecting wetlands, restoring stream banks, protecting groundwater sources, and engaging residents in protecting their waters and communities. And then into the specifics of this program a little bit. Our requirements for groups to receive a project grant from us are that you must be a grassroots group, which I'll touch a little bit more on that later. You must be in the Great Lakes Basin. You must be a current member organization with us, and you must be a US nonprofit that's a 501c3 or for our Canadian groups, a Canadian charity. If you're not either of these, you can still apply for a grant with us if you do have a fiscal sponsor. And if you don't have a fiscal sponsor and would like help finding one, you can also just let us know, and we can try to help with that. And I guess one thing not listed here is that you also, if you have received a grant from us in the past, to be eligible for another grant, you must have submitted your grant reports that are due. And if you aren't sure if you have one that's overdue or not, you can just call Lori, and she can help you out with that. Okay. As I said earlier, you must be a grassroots group to be eligible for a grant from us. And by grassroots, we mean groups that have limited funds and rely on volunteers for a majority of their work. For limited funds, we don't really have a specific budgetary limitation, but it's pretty unlikely that a group with an annual budget over $200,000 would be considered grassroots under our definition. And for advocacy, we define that as basically just support for the recommendation of a particular policy or cause. And we just see this through anything that's kind of encouraging permanent or broad-reaching change at the corporate, community, or regulatory level. So something going beyond just education or stewardship. So providing people or institutions with the tools, resources, or information they need to implement lasting change. Types of projects we fund. So projects that result in ongoing or positive permanent change to restore or improve water resources. We'd also fund a project involving watchdogging and participating in the development, implementation, and enforcement of water protection regulations, which could be local, state, provincial, or federal. And lastly, projects that create opportunities to strengthen citizen involvement in protection and restoration of their waters. Next, projects we don't fund. So governmental functions or quasi-governmental functions like conservation districts, any lobbying activities. We don't fund projects that have already been completed. We don't cover consulting services for capacity building or strategy development. These services are available from Freshwater Future staff through our coaching and consulting grants, which I'll touch on that later as well. And lastly, we don't fund partisan election activities. Okay, moving on. So process and timeline, the deadline to apply for this grant is March 30th, specifically at 11:59 PM. And the grant period will be the 1st of July until the following June. So you'll have 1 year to do the project, and then you'll have a month after the project period is over to report back to Lori. If you do need more time for the reporting, once your grant period is over, let us know and we can work with you on that. But if you are unsure of anything on the application, please just call us. We can try to kind of steer you in the right direction or help you like adjust your project a little bit so that you can hopefully get some funding from us. We really don't want to waste your time, so we'd much rather you call and ask so we can tell you if it fits or not. Let's see. Oh, also, when you send in your application, make sure that you do get a confirmation email from Lori within 24 hours saying that she received your application. And if you haven't gotten that, please reach out to us so that we know. And I guess one other thing that I should mention is that you can only get one project grant from us per calendar year. So if you get one from us this spring, you won't be eligible to get one in the fall. If you do apply in the spring and you don't get a grant from us, then you can reapply in the fall though. So you can try again. And then quickly, I'll just run through this list of questions that we think is helpful to when you're writing your application. And I guess, by the way, the grant readers are typically Jill and Lori and myself, and then 3 others outside of Freshwater Future. So keep that in mind that it's not only staff reading your application. So just try to make things clear. So what is the water-related problem you're addressing? Who are the decision makers? How will we connect the decision maker? What tools and information can we provide to educate the decision maker? And would it be helpful to discuss this with someone outside to see if they have additional insights? And again, you can call us for that too. So, and these slides will be available along with the recording afterwards. So you can come back to this slide when you're writing your application and check over it. Other opportunities. So we do offer special opportunity grants, which are kind of our emergency grants. These go up to $750, but you can apply year round for these, unlike our project grants. So this is kind of the grant if your project or if your application falls outside of our project grant timeline. These also have a much faster turnaround, so about 2 weeks. And as I mentioned before, we do have coaching and consulting grants too. And this covers assistance from Freshwater Future staff. And our areas of expertise are board development, succession planning, fundraising, finance assistance, advocacy strategy, membership planning, marketing strategy, and nonprofit registration. So you can call us and tell us what you need some help with, and we can kind of come up with a plan and a scope of work and go from there. And lastly, membership benefits. As I said, you must be a member to get a grant from us, but with membership, you also get to participate in networks to exchange information with other organizations working on similar topics. You get discounted consulting assistance from us, and you get access to training, resources, and toolkits. And if you aren't sure if you're a member, again, you can call Lori and she can help you out with that. And that's the end of my slides. I went through that pretty quick. So if you have any questions, now is the time, or you can email or call me or Lori later on. And we know that once you get started on your application, you might have some new questions too. So don't hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for. So thank you all for listening. And yeah, we can go into questions now. There are any.
Looks
I have
like
a question.
Vanessa has a question.
Hi, thanks for having us and doing this wonderful presentation. My question is, what's the difference between the special opportunity grant and like going for the regular grant? Is there a difference? Like if you have multiple things, we're just starting up. So I didn't know if we needed to apply for what one to apply for.
The special opportunity grants are only up to $750 and these go up to $5,000. And you can apply for both. You can receive one special opportunity grant and one project grant per calendar year. Does that
Okay,
kind of
thank you.
answer? Okay.
And really, special opportunity grants have all the same criteria and requirements. They're just meant for emergencies. In other words, for things that don't fit within our regular cycle, because it takes a while to get a regular grant. So the smaller ones are more emergency, and we can turn those around in 2 weeks. And I see we have another question. Does grassroots organization have to be the member, or can it be the sponsor? And it really does need to be the applicant. So the group that's applying for the funding is the one we're looking to be grassroots. Good questions. Any other questions? Feel free to unmute yourselves too.
Hi there. Hi there, this is Kathy from Needar Water in Escoda. I saw the one little dot on your map that shows some funding coming over here, so I really appreciate it. I'm hoping to get some more dots over here.
Yeah.
So, my question is about the things to ask yourself when applying. So like the second one is, who are the decision makers who can help make change in addressing this problem? Is this something you'd like to see reflected in the application? You know, us listing kind of those entities, or?
I think yes, I think it helps the readers to understand in your application who are those people you'll be targeting. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a list, but maybe in your case, it's the Department of Defense. So that, I mean, you can talk about how you might influence the Department of Defense, for example.
Okay. And it's, you know, sort of a fine line because we can't, you know, lobby the legislators that are directing funding to fix our big problem. So, you know, somehow I gotta, because, you know, we do, some of our work is related to that, but a lot of it is related to working just with the, you know, the polluter, which is the Air Force. So.
Yeah, all that stuff with the Air Force is good. And you can also do education with legislators, but you can't get to the point where there's a bill and you're asking them to move a certain way on it.
I see. Okay. So visits to DC to meet with legislators to talk about what, you know, for instance, you know, PFAS is and all of that. That would fill the bill. Okay.
Yeah, that's all education, unless there's a bill involved.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. It's great to see you.
You too.
Janet, did you have a follow-up question? I thought you might have come off mute there.
Yeah, I can't type very fast, I guess. I did put it in there. I guess I just put another question in there, is if we need to have matching funds in the budget from other organizations.
No matching funds are required with us.
None? Okay. And then I was also wondering, currently the health, we're having harmful algae blooms and E. coli in our lake. And currently it's the Allegan Health Department or Allegan Conservation District that's doing that testing. Can we still engage them to do that in other lakes within our watershed?
Sure. Absolutely.
And use this money? Okay, I just wanted to make sure because it will be, we're in a chain of lakes, and the lead lake and another lake in it are having algae outbreaks, but they don't know if they're harmful. and they don't know if they have E. coli. We're the bottom lake, which has gotten impacted first, and it's working its way through.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Whatever, tools for monitoring and looking at how to make a change you could come up with are great. So if working with those entities is a good thing, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we might also be working with Dr. King of Michigan State University. She does look at Chain of Lakes specific.
Oh, good, great.
Yeah. I
Sounds good.
think that's it. I've looked at the application. And do you want us to leave the questions or points in there and then answer underneath them, or take out
It
the
is helpful to
questions?
the
and then-
readers if you do that, yes.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought. I kind of did half and half, and I thought, well, that's stupid. And our
Well, we-
sponsor is going to be the Kalamazoo River Watershed Council that has
We know them
done,
well.
we're a sub watershed of them.
Great.
And so Doug McLaughlin has graciously agreed to that.
That's wonderful. We've worked with them for decades.
That's what he mentioned. So
Yeah.
I think that's it for now. Let me go through my notes.
Sounds good. Sure.
And I can put my email in the chat too, if that's easier. If you do have any questions eventually.
Excellent. Any other questions? These are great.
Hi, I have another question, if it's okay.
Yes, please.
It was saying about getting with others to have them overlook it to see like what you might be missing, especially if you're not used to writing these kind of grants. How do we do that? I mean, Freshwater Futures, Kristen's been awesome, but how do we utilize that other part to see like, hey, we're starting out, you could also do X, Y, and Z.
So for the strategy side of that, if you have other partners out there besides us, you can run it by them. If not, you can run it by someone else here. Alana will be happy to take a look at it for you. And the other thing is sometimes I suggest that people run it by, their mom or their sister or brother, right? It's not, our readers are people just like you. They're former grant recipients. We suggest that it helps actually to get an eye that isn't solely focused on your issue. So that's the other thing. Anybody who's out there who may not be intimately involved in your issue might be a good help as well, not just for our application, but certainly for how you talk about it with other people. I do the same thing. I call my brother and run stuff past him, and he's like, what? Then I know we're in trouble. We need to start again.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
I only had one other observation is on the application, I don't know if it's my computer or my program, but I can't mark the boxes like I'm applying for spring. So I just took the fall one off.
Yeah, you can do that, or you could highlight the one.
That's what that other thing is I was highlighting in some of the
Yeah.
other areas where we might need help. We have been trying to start a lake association, but we're having limited impact there, so I might need some help there.
Absolutely. Happy to talk with you about what that could look like.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Sure. All right. Well, it looks like we've exhausted the questions, and we don't want to take up any more of your time than necessary. So again, thank you all for taking the time to be here. Hopefully, we would love to see applications and work with you to create those. So we look forward to seeing those. And I'll turn it back to you, Alana.
What was that? Sorry.
Oh, Bob. Bob, did you have something?
No.
Oh,
Just thank you very
Alright, well-
much. It's been very informative, and I like the last part about keeping it simple, running it by someone who isn't necessarily in the field. Uh, you know, be it a spouse, a partner, a parent, whoever, somebody like I had written down here, my dad should be able to understand what I'm writing. And if he can't, I need to do it again.
That's a great point. Yeah, thank you. Excellent. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
It looks like. Kathy
Thank
had a
you.
que-
What was that?
Next,
Didn't it look like, I thought I saw Kathy had a question about when the grants are awarded.
get back to you by June. And then the contracts will be coming out in late June, and then the checks, if you get it in by July 1st, the checks will usually get cut July 1st. Sure, sure. And is it Agnew Sandy or Sandy Agnew? I'm not sure when you joined us, but if you have any other questions, we're happy to hang on and answer any questions you might have too. I think you just joined recently.
Yeah, I just joined. I'm sorry I was late.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, well, let's hang on a minute, Agnew, and we'll
It's
let
San-
other folks
San
go.
Diego. Yeah,
San Diego.
Agnew.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so everyone else, thank you again, and we'll look forward to seeing your applications.
Thank you.